Just something a little light. Let's make sure. Audio. There we go. Just something a little light. Not too much on my face. How are you people doing today? Oh, all right. So happy Monday. I'm sorry I'm late, but I've been running around, today. Had EMDR, had my last session with my most recent therapist, and I'm going to be getting a new one. I probably should start looking soon, but I just haven't got around to it. So today is a interesting day. Today is actually my father's 71st birthday. It is his 71st heavenly birthday. So happy birthday to him. I'm trying to celebrate. I'm not trying not to be too sad. This is rum and coke with Mount Gay, which is rum from Barbados. And yeah, it's we just sipping on this sipping slow. Cheers to my dad. I did post a video of him for his birthday, which I'm gonna show you guys now. So just just something to show. Oh wait, I actually might be able to hold up. Oh wait, no, I had unplugged my hard drive. So let's see. Why did that start playing? Okay. Hold on. Are we going slow tonight? Is that what we're doing? I hope not. Anyway, All right. So I posted this video and some photos.
Oh, fine. Hello. Now, we're at the home of Miss Norma Baptist. Christmas 92. You didn't see me doing it, but I did it. Took a small one. No, you're not getting it. Cheers. Get ready to feed us. Drop camera.
I don't remember this event in question. This was 1992, Christmas 1992. I was 2 going on 3.
That this lady wears. Can you imagine? Look at the size of that. My goodness. Oh boy. Pull up again, Bert. Oh, fine. Oh.
So my caption says, I want to wish my dad a happy heavenly birthday. He would have been 71 today. One thing I miss most about my dad is his sense of humor. He was always joking and trolling people, as you can see in some of these home movies. So the apple doesn't far fall from the tree, as you guys can see. He was goofy, but also had a very sarcastic and cynical New York humor, as well, as I like to call it. I just laugh watching these videos. It's nice to look back on a time before illness and when family is all together. It's still hard to believe, hard to swallow, and will be for a long time. But just taking it day by day. Gonna get some flowers and a cupcake for him today. I love you and miss you, Dad. Hashtag happy birthday, Dad. Hashtag I miss my dad. So there's 2 other videos here.
Bert, hold up again.
My brother was transcribing these videos.
Look at the size of that. Let's measure it in terms of the old caboozle.
The old caboozle.
Oh, what a big one. When you're tired walking in them, then you can sit in the chair and watch TV and hold them. Thank you. That's all, folks.
My dad was a goofball. Look at that vintage Wolverine costume.
Hello.
And look who that is.
I said hello. She said hello. Hello.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Lizzie.
Boo. Hi, Daddy.
Eat.
Hi, Daddy.
Eat.
I'm sorry, but I'm really damn cute.
Let me see you eat.
I was really damn cute.
Of course.
And so this video was, I believe this is also 1992. Or it might be 91. But this was, we drove to Florida. And this was, we were on our way back from Florida and we stopped at, this is in Virginia. My dad's getting me to chase him.
This is the light.
Of your life.
This is the light of truth and wisdom. The light of life, for life, and for Christopher's candles. That's all it is.
And for Christmas candle, that's
Okay,
all
what
it
I
is.
think she wants to say it is.
That's my mom, everybody. You guys haven't seen her before, I don't think. So yeah, so I also posted some photos too. Let's see. The caption says, I miss you. Happy birthday, Dad. My dad has some amazing photos from the 70s and 80s. So this picture was like around 2018, I believe, 2018. Or yeah, that seems. That seems about right. 2018. And this picture was in his early 20s when he went in the military. And this was 2014, I believe. He was a lot pudgier then. And this was, I think, in his 20s, 30s. I'm not sure where this is. I think he said that he was upstate with some friends. Because I asked him about some of these pictures when they were taken and whatnot. More pictures. Banks Berry looks really young here, like 22, 23 or so. Or 20 something photos. Just seemed like a cool dude. This is a more recent pic. This is the dad I remember growing up with. Like, when I think of my dad, this is what I remember him looking like. Some more. And finally, of course, I have a photography picture. So, yes, happy birthday to my Faja. Happy birthday. I gotta go to the door for a second. I will be right back. Make sure you guys follow my page. Hit that like button. I'll be right back. Really quick. Okay. So, I'm sorry. I need to munch a little bit. All right, y'all. Oh my god. I haven't even been on here so long and it's already with the spammers. Okay. So, today, you've seen the title. We're going to talk about, I don't know, is this risque to talk about? We're going to talk about Netflix's sex life. Apparently, I'm late. The show came out in June. I literally just watched it last week. When I was visiting family, I had a lot of free time on my hands. I ended up getting into the show. It took a little bit. The first attempt was like, but then when I saw the extremely graphic, we're gonna just say XXX, extremely graphic XXX scenes, and I was like, ooh, I gotta watch this. Because is it just me, or in movies nowadays, like, they don't have XXX scenes anymore? Like, but yeah, I feel like they don't have XXX scenes in movies anymore. The classic, oh crap. The classic, I don't know what's coming first to my mind is Fatal Attraction, or the movie scenes that you have to rewind. You're like, I gotta see that again. So I haven't seen anything like this in so long, and I feel like actually erotic thrillers is one of my favorite erotic. Okay, bitch, stop texting me, damn it. Let me put this do not disturb on. Okay. So erotic thrillers is actually one of my favorite film genres. The Fatal Attraction, the what's it called? What's that one with Sharon Stone where she opens her leg in the courtroom and she's flashing the guys her coochie? Yes. Stuff like that, or Taking Lives. I think that's what Angelina Jolie. Like, I love erotic thriller films. It's like the best. So, I wouldn't classify this as like an erotic thriller, but it's an erotic drama. And I actually feel like I haven't seen anything this graphic on Netflix before. I'm sorry if I'm eating, y'all. It's already getting late. I have to eat something. I've been running around crazy. Just look at this as a mukbang. Okay? I'm gonna try my best to be polite. So, um, I I I mean, I haven't watched everything on Netflix, but from watching Netflix, I haven't seen anything this graphic in such a long time. And, you know, one of my favorite things about the show, first of all, Sarah Shahi was my girl crush, one of my girl crushes when I was a teenager, because I was watching the L Word when I wasn't supposed to be. Which, when did the L Word came out? Maybe I was 13, 14, 15, whatever. She was in the L Word, and she was like tomboy. She was dating Shane. Like, I don't know if anybody remembers that. Everybody remembers the L Word. She dated Shane, and she almost got Shane. Oh yeah, anything I say is gonna be spoilers, by the way. So if you're not interested in spoilers, then I mean, it's not nothing crazy, like, but whatever. So she was interested in Shane, and so loved her in that. So, and also Mike Vogel, which is the actor who plays her husband, was also one of my teen crushes from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was just like, oh, he's just like so fine. Like, I have this thing for blondes, or like I like when guys will bleach their blonde hairs. Like, back when I was, you know, still into my toxic male phase, I was like used to die over Chris Brown when Chris Brown bleached his hair blonde. I was like, this is like my dream man here. Even my ex, actually both of my exes had blonde tips that they bleached the tips of their hair blonde. Or no, first bleached his tips. The second was a surfer, so his hair was naturally like blonde tip like that from the ocean. So I love it. I love it. Loved him in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He got murked very early. Obviously he's good looking and having sex, and those two things, gets you killed in a movie if you haven't seen Scream. So anyway, so let's talk about the let's read the synopsis, because I'm sure that there are people here. Okay, let me see. Oh God, why am I being harassed by bots? Please leave me alone. It's not a good day for me. So, oh shit. Oh great. All right. I'm sorry if this show is discombobulated today. It's been a long day. All right. So we have Sex Life Season 1 summary and ending explained. Whom Billy chose in the end. Humans are dynamic. They are constantly evolving. Change is their inherent nature. We have seen many stories where a character is depressed or unsatisfied due to its mundane state. blah, 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 blah. Sex Life is based on the novel 44 Chapters About Four Men, which I didn't know that. I thought I looked it up to try and see if it was based on something. Turns out it is. Written by B.B. Easton. Season 1 is narrated in 8 episodes. It's purely an adult series. Therefore, try not to enjoy it with your family. You mean, therefore, do not enjoy. It's not for family. It's not. It's not. Do not. I remember actually, I was at my cousin's house and her, her 6-year-old child was there, and that was an issue. I had to keep the volume down, had to keep the door closed. If he tried, he would sometimes just burst out. I would say, no, step out, go back outside. I'm gonna call you when you can come. And I would just pause the TV and let him come inside. That show is really raunchy. Like, and if you had to give it a rating, I would say it's NC-17. So let's continue on. It will save you some embarrassment. However, binge with a partner would be the best thing you would do, not drifting away from the topic. So let's jump to conclusions. The plot summary. Billie Connolly is a married American woman living in the suburbs of New York City. Did anyone else notice that everything on Netflix is either shot in LA or New York? It's yeah. They have our office is there, so there's just like so much. I actually need to figure out if there's a Netflix in Miami. That would be good to know. So, um, Cooper Connolly admires his wife, and the two adorable children complete the happy family. Everything is perfect except Billy's sensual life. After their second baby, the intimacy just vanished from their marriage. Billy, who had been wild in her past life, misses it in her marriage. She wants to experience that love bubble rush again. Unable to control her desires, Billy starts writing a journal to revisit her past experiences. Her notes quickly get filled with memories of her ex boyfriend, Brad Simon. I hate his name, by the way, whom she dated 8 years ago before meeting Cooper. With Brad, Billy had the best time of her life. Unfortunately, Billy's desires didn't stay in her journal. Connolly reads his wife's journal and tries to please her as per her expectation. But the spark is still missing because Brad was inherently wild, dangerous, and arresting. Soon, Billy's wish comes true when she runs into Brad at her best friend Sasha Snow's house. However, a step further from here will decide the course of action and the fate of Billy's married life. Okay, so all right, so what do I say? Let me start with Billy. So, with Billy, I related to her character a lot. I'm not married, but one thing I related to her about is wait, should I talk about the series as a whole first? Okay, whatever. Billy, I related to her character. No, I'm not married, but there is something about being a wild child running around the streets of New York that is just like so life giving and exhilarating. And even to this day, I'm 31, turning 32 in like 3 months. And I can so thoroughly understand the FOMO that she's talks about and goes through in the show. When she's fantasizing about her and her best friend going to the different clubs, going to this place and that place, and going to this person's house and that person's house, and da 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 da. I plan to make a live stream at some point, or no, a video. I want to make a video about my partying years, but it really is. She even said it in the show that a night that only New York can give you, because you and your friend, you decide that you guys at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, oh, let's go meet at the bar. And then meet at the bar, and then you meet some people and they're like, hey, let's go to this place, and you guys go to this place, and then you move and you go to that place and you start dancing all night, and then after that you get some pizza, and then after that they're like, hey, let's watch the sunrise from my rooftop house. Like, because you just run into all sorts of people in New York. And I felt everything that she was feeling on a deep, visceral level. Like, I truly, truly, coming home at 6 a.m., like, you're in the train in your heels and people are in there going to work, and you was just like at a house party. I remember I went to a party at like Kanye West manager apartment or something like that. And it's just like I totally get that. And it's kind of like that whole fleeting youth thing, right? Like I mean, you're not old, 30 is not old, 40, which I think she's in the show, she's around 40 years old. It's not old or anything, but on some level, especially when you have kids, there's things that you have to let go and stuff like that. I mean, I would argue against that too because um although like I was saying although my hardcore partying ways are over, um I'm not gonna not go out to a party or to a club or something like that just because I'm a certain age. Like every once in a while, like I personally am someone that loves to dance, and I could literally I'll be the laziest motherfucker, but if some music on, I can dance the night away. Some 70s, 80s music, some soca, like that's always gonna be a part of me, part of my identity. And so I really understand, the fact that she really had to small sheself down. You don't want to small yourself, you want to big yourself. So I understand that feeling of having to shrink. And then the fact that too, she's highly educated, she's going for her PhD, she had her own dreams and stuff like that, and of course she loves her children, loves her husband, whatever. So that's something too that I think about in the future. And when you think about wanting kids and stuff like that, you know, something I worry about is, not being in a position where I feel resentful or I feel stuck or I feel, and I just feel like the show really showed nuance. I watched a couple things about this show. The comments are so toxic, like all those red pill. This show is a red pill man's fucking nightmare. Like they are fucking crying over this show. I didn't go seek them out. I was watching reviews of the show online and reading the comments, you know, just she's a disgusting whore, all this stuff, as if men don't have, let's say, perfect wives who are attractive, who keep themselves up, who's sexy, who take care of their kids, who do this and that, and they don't still feel like they want to go cheat, they want to sleep around, they want to get that thing back. you know I just this weekend I went out with my friends, and we went to a bar, and without giving out too much info, long story short, I saw a married guy kissing on, flirting with a person that was in our party. I didn't know them, but they were just like, you know, and they were not together. Like this guy was just trying to talk to people, whatever. He had his ring on. I mean, I don't know what the situation is. They're separated, whatever. Anything could be happening. But, and that's not the first time I encounter, when I go out, married men all the time, as in men wearing their rings, who, if they might not out directly hit on you, whatever, but they'll be very flirtatious. They want to buy you drinks. They want to talk to you. They keep the conversation going. They're leaning in. And you know what? Maybe at the end of the night, they just go home. They just want to see if they still got it. So the fact that she's being dragged and called a whore and all this kind of stuff is just like, I feel like y'all have no understanding of like, y'all have this idea. I'm not saying you guys, but people have this idea of how people are, how people should be, instead of actually thinking about how people really are. And although I would say the script of this show was at times very cringy, it was a little bit too simple. Sometimes the sex scenes were like, what the heck? Where is this? This is so random. Like at times it felt like that. Sometimes it felt low quality, honestly, truly. But there were certain parts that I felt were really deep, and the complex. I love the fact that it showed, a woman being sexually dissatisfied, because I read a lot of Reddit. There's a whole Reddit called Dead Bedrooms, which literally spouses and boyfriends and girlfriends go to this subreddit and talk about how their spouse is not putting out, that they are so sexually unsatisfied, that, and it's like pretty even. It's not even like it's mostly men. It's pretty even. Women are too. So I really like that this show explored a woman being sexually dissatisfied from her, in the words of Married at First Sight, basic Caucasian sex. Like she didn't want to keep having basic Caucasian sex. Like it was boring for her. And so, you know, I think I think a lot of girls can relate to a woman who has a past lover who was like, let's say, a bad boy, toxic, fucked up mentally. I don't know what it is. There needs to be some research, some money and research put into this. Why do guys like that, who are just bad people, like my ex, like my first boyfriend, like why are they so good in bed? Like I don't understand this. Why are toxic, horrible, fucked up guys so good in bed? That's not to say that guys who are good people aren't good in bed, but they're not there's no comparison. There's no comparison to your most toxic dude, or the hobosexuals. The hobosexuals, well, obviously they have nothing else going for them, so they have to get really good at that thing in order to have a place to live. So but like this guy Chad, he's not a homosexual. He was rich. He was just as rich as Cooper. So, you know, which was also a great dynamic because they were all on that level, right? There was no kind of money dynamic, whatever. Like Billy, if she would have kept up with her career and she would have continued on, got her master's and PhD, she would have been making the same amount of money, if not same amount, a lot, like Cooper and stuff. Well, I think that Brad was more like, he was probably more like millionaire status, and Cooper was probably going to get there in a more of a long term over the time of his clients and working. He's a Wall Street guy. So um I think, was he Wall Street? Oh no, he was a lawyer. Well, yeah, like accounting, whatever, something like that. And so and so I just really enjoyed the dichotomy of her character. And of course, because I could relate to it, to the FOMO, the fear of missing out, wanting to have it all, and the thing is, though, the thing is, hold on, what else did I say? Okay, so one thing I also liked about Billy's character, that they showed her breastfeeding a lot. I thought that was really amazing, and it even made me ask my cousin questions. I was like, when she had the pumps like attached to her boobs and they were pumping whatever, I'm like, yo, like, this is real? Like you can buy one of these things and it just pumps for you? Like what happens? And she talked about when Billy lactated in the train station and stuff like that. Like I didn't know that it was like that. She was talking about her boobs were real hard. Like my cousin was telling me, like it gets really full and engorged and it just hurts and you have to squeeze it out. And like, yeah, I was definitely like, I like that. I feel like I like, you know, of course there's so much that can be done, but there really is progress with certain things. Like when you see in the film, you are seeing more minorities, you are seeing things like a woman breastfeeding and, you know, her breasts, like, squeezing it out and showing these things. Because even as a woman, I don't know that. So I know damn sure these men don't know it, you know, and they need to learn more about that. And you know, it's so taboo for women to talk about their sexuality, and what they want in relationships. And I've always said that, like, a lot of these red pill people, if women really came out, and I'm waiting for who is the one that's going to be brave enough to talk about how the majority of women are actually unsatisfied, not reaching the O's, not getting that stuff done, not getting it done properly, just bang, bang, bang like rabbits and then just throw it to the side. I'm going to sleep. No warming you up ahead of time. You know what I mean? Like a lot of guys' egos would just be like totally flattened, like, And so, again, I really enjoyed that they showed this from a woman's perspective. Now on to Brad. So I guess maybe if I bring a picture up, it might be better. Hold up. Oh my god, what? What is this article? Oh my god. Okay. I didn't want to talk about that, but mm, I don't know. Maybe I should have saved this stream for a Saturday late night stream, but oh my gosh. Wait till y'all hear what this article that I just pulled up. Let me see. Okay, here we go. All right, I just want to have something so we can understand who I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So, right. Brad. Yes. So, Brad. What do I think about Brad? I think Brad is the definition of a manic pixie dream boy. What is a. So, I'm sorry, I needed that, y'all. So, what is a manic pixie dream boy? So, because this is a film analysis, I'm going to put you guys up on some film terms. All right. All right. So, the original term is a manic pixie dream girl. But for the sake of not dragging it out, I'm going to just tell you what the original phrase is manic pixie dream girl, but I'm calling him a manic pixie dream boy. And for the sake of that, I'm going to just say what that is. And then you can, think of the reverse. So the manic pixie dream boy. Oh, come on. Oh, the manic pixie dream boy is a kind of quirky, attractive, and misunderstood guy who values the female protagonist for something that isn't related to her career or personal goals. The self-mythologizing, free-spirited dude who's determined to make the female protagonist's life magical, whether they want it or not. The films that star these manic pixie dream boys revolve around the experiences. What is this? What's with all the pop-ups? The films that star these manic pixie dream boys revolve around the experiences and struggles that women face in everyday life, but it all gets put on the back burner when the male love interest knows exactly how her free spirit from the struggles that she's facing. Rude boy Lexi says, "Hey," and I'm saying, "Hey back, what's up? Please give me a like." So, an example of the manic pixie dream boy would be the best example I can give is like Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Titanic. You notice how he just poofed out of nowhere. He just saves her life. He's so perfect. He's so charming. He's fun. He likes to have fun. He wants to change her life. He wants to take her on an adventure. And then he just boom, they kill him off, and then he kind of changes her life and sets her on a new path in life. So the manic pixie dream boy is just like this. It's just oftentimes these characters can be very much written by women dreaming up the perfect guy. Another manic pixie dream boy is Edward from Twilight, right? Bella is she's an average looking girl. She's boring. She's dry. She has no personality. I read the books, trust me. Kristen Stewart, she's horrible. She played the role horribly, but is dressed as dry and crusty and burnt butterless toast as Kristen Stewart was in the movie. So, Edward, he's sexy. He's so much better looking than her. He's strong. He's got a deep sexual prowess. He's just perfect. He's always there to save her. He's always there. He just turns her on. He's just like the perfect. He only wants her. He doesn't want anybody else. Like, this is a manic pixie dream boy. Like basically, and movies, the original term was manic pixie dream girl because that's what came first, because a lot of the industry is obviously dominated by men, and most of the writers are men, and they write stuff i- incidentally for women, and they turn the women characters into these little fairies that just come into the male character's life and just make everything better, and she's just like quirky, and she's just like funny, and she just makes him loosen up and fall in love and trust again. Like um think about There's Something About Mary. Think about um I don't know, but that's a good example of that. So I feel like Brad is a definition of a manic pixie dream boy, and he he has no personality, and he had no real character development. I mean, they showed his flashbacks of his relationship eventually with Billy, so we could see how him starting to remember, and him starting to stop romanticizing how he treated her and how their relationship was, and starting to realize about himself. And but the fact that they never showed like the context of why he was a bad person. I mean, he showed his stepfather and stuff like that. He briefly talked about it, but I just wish they would have showed a little bit more. So I really didn't feel his character. I also felt like the actor should have been hotter. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but like, I felt like the actor should have been much hotter. And I've seen this actor before in another movie with, I forget what it's called, with Christina Milian. It was like a romance movie, and he's just very so stiff and wood, and he really is like a plank of wood. Just watching him act, he's just like, Billy, I love you, because he's Australian. He's like, Billy, I love you. You know it. You know it's me and you. Like, you know it. Yeah. Billy. Oh, come on. You know that he can't love you like I do. I'm like, that's like his whole role. So his character was just like, but like I said, Manic Pixie Dream Boy. So they don't usually have a lot of character development. So I don't know. I feel like we should have got more from him. For her to leave her life to want to go back to him. I mean, the sex was good and fiery and hot and all that stuff, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just me, but I don't know. Like, I wouldn't leave all of that for some D. Oh, but then again, I guess her and her husband's relationship over time, over the years, was just bland, very like mechanical in the motions or whatever. Her husband's fine as hell. So I don't know. She should have just talked to him. But also at the same time, too, him reading her diary, I was like, what is going on here? Um, so then we talk about Cooper. Cooper is a good guy. I feel like they almost made Cooper a little bit too perfect, but because she really just really fucking wrecked him, and he was not but I also feel too like he's naive, like to think he's saying that she brought the darkness. He never experienced darkness in his life, but she brought it out of him. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I can believe that at 40 something that you're gonna just stay pure forever. Like things are gonna happen in life. And but I also understood where Cooper was coming from, and I felt him on a deep visceral level too. When I remember the one line after Billy and Brad and her friend went out to dinner, and you know Brad went to Billy in the bathroom, and Cooper came in and was just like, you keep comparing us, and it's making, he said, that actor, he really played that fucking role. He was like, it's making me sick. I really felt him deeply, that I'm like, damn, she's really crushing him. She's really breaking his spirit. I can understand why he would feel like that. And oh, I guess I should type in. So Yeah. Oh, here's a good picture. This man is so fine. Oh my God, Lord have mercy. Lord, I mean, I don't. I guess I don't wish he would have played Brad because I feel like he's definitely giving Upper East Side. Um, he definitely gives Upper East Side energy, like, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Comes from money, went to a good school. You know, the only thing is that I'm not buying the whole he's a straight edge guy thing. Like I don't think I buy that. But you know, well, I don't know, he might have been an ugly duckling. I mean his character, might have been an ugly duckling when he was young. Cuz that could sometimes happen. Ugly ducklings, you just feel like you're ugly your whole life, and then sometimes when you get good looking when you're older and you start dating hot people, you still feel like you're ugly, and you feel like I'm kind of punching up, you know what I mean? And so I think he probably felt like he punched up with Billy. Like he's like, yeah, she's super hot, she's so fun, she's educated, she's perfect, she's spicy, like this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I like. So in regards to that, so Cooper, oh my God, that XXX party scene when Cooper when his coworker and friend's wife went down on him, Lord, he said, "Do it." Oh my gosh, I was literally like watching the TV, like, no, are you kidding me? Right in front of Billy, and Billy was just like, "Oh hell no!" That part was actually really interesting and funny because all of this comes from her just writing in her journal and memorizing. She didn't do anything. She didn't actually go and see the guy and mess with him or anything. But everything that was going on in Cooper's head, he just kept imagining and fantasizing and ruminating and doing all this stuff. And then him also, taking care of himself while reading the stuff she wrote about her and another guy. Like, he got too involved, man. They have a saying, if you're looking for something, you'll find it. Don't go looking for stuff if you don't want to find the answer. And he went and he was just, oh my gosh, he really set himself up. I'm like, why would you do that? Why you keeps looking through her journal, keeps doing all this stuff? I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I feel so bad for him. But Mike Vogel played this part to a T. I think that he did a really good job. All right, so there's one more character. Um, Hold on. So the last main character is wait, Margaret Odette. Okay. Well, she looks really different. I hate to use this picture. Oh no, I guess I'll use this picture. So, oh no, this is so small. Hold on. These pics are small. I hate to use this picture. I'll use that one. Okay, this one's not too bad. Why is this one small too? What are you doing? Okay, whatever. We'll just have it like this. Okay, so Margaret Odette. So she played the character of Sasha, right, on the show. So Sasha was Billy's unchilded best friend from her hoe days. Even still to this day, her friend. And so this, I have a little bit of a bone to pick. I feel like the show put black characters in very awkward places. Like the black people was just sprinkled in weird places. Like, oh, you gotta have the sidekick. Her friend is black. Unmarried, unchilded. By choice, definitely. Like, they definitely didn't portray her in a way where it wasn't like she couldn't find anybody, which is good. But she was doing it by choice. But at the same time, I feel like, I'm all about the corrective promotion wave. So I didn't really, wasn't feeling that. And then the fact that she slept with Brad, like, that to me is so, that, I don't understand why that happened. Like, it had absolutely no bearing on the show's plot. Like, it did not in any way advance the plot forward. It did nothing. Like, it was so. And then the part when Billy was to her friend effing her man, like, that part was weird. Like, they could have did it in a different way. They could have had him setting up to F another girl and let her watch, but it was weird that it was her friend and her friend didn't know, and like she didn't have consent to watch. Like, it was just kind of really weird. It was like, imagine someone secretly recording you and then showing other people. That's literally what it was. And the friend, ooh, I got some coconut on my thing. Now, while the friend wasn't mad, it was still like just not appropriate. And like I said, why did they have to show the friend, the black girl? Why does she have to be the betrayer, the sexually promiscuous, like, whatever? I feel like, we as black women and mixed race women as well, Latinas, are very over sexualized as it is. Like, why did they have to make her like that? It was that was a bit disappointing. So, and then effing your best friend's ex-boyfriend. I don't care, it had been 8 years. I don't care how long it's been. If my best friend effed my most recent ex, who we haven't been together in almost 5 years, I am gonna be fucking pissed about that. I'm gonna throw a stink. I'm gonna flip out. I'm like, yo, you're grimy, you're nasty. Why did you do that? Like, why would you have to do that? There was no reason for her to have to sleep with him. There was no reason. Billy could have ran into him in some other way, more organically, not randomly showing up at her friend's house and her ex-boyfriend is there because he's effing her. Like, that was just, I didn't like that. I felt it was unrealistic, and it just, the character Sasha, she kind of downgraded in my mind. Like, I didn't like her. I didn't feel bad for her or anything. We didn't really know much more about her. She was just kind of like a catalyst character for Billy to just feed her feelings into. We didn't learn too much about her. I mean, it was nice if she's very educated. She was in psychology and stuff like that. She's like kind of black feminist type vibes, but I really did not like the fact that she slept with Brad. Like, that was not a good story. I don't know if that's in the original, in the book, whatever, but I just didn't feel like that was a good plot device. And it made her look bad. And it made her look like a real friend. And the fact that Billy, and was like, I don't have a right to be mad. I shouldn't be mad. Hell yeah, you got a right to be mad. Your best friend just slept with your man, and not your ex-boyfriend. Not even just your ex-boyfriend, like your the dude at your hurt locker, basically, as Shannon XO would say. Your hurt locker, the man who hurt you the most, the man who you're currently fantasizing about. Like, why would you do that? That to me would be a betrayal. That would be shady. That would be icky. And I didn't like that. So anyway, as that's basically how I feel. Oh my God, we're up to 55 minutes. So yeah, that's how I feel about characters of the show. Like I said, overall, I feel like it was an entertaining show. I really liked all the XXX action because it, like I said, it's just not a lot of XXX action in movies anymore. And so, I like not only that they show obviously they show a lot of women chest area, a lot of women butt area, but they actually did full frontals of the men. So, and that's something that you never see, and it's really not fair. It's really not fair. And I feel like on some level, the reason why it's not shown is because actors, actors, people are gonna judge them. Like if they have a little tiny, you're gonna get judged. If people have bigger, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, everyone loves you and stuff like that. So, but also too, when it comes to the sizes, I remember that scene when when Cooper was following Brad and he was working out with him in the gym and stalking him, and Brad turned around in the shower and showed his long, 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 long eggplant. I felt like that was really good because it really hit Cooper in the chest. He was like, damn, and this mother effer got a big than me. Like it just was really nailing home the idea. And it was like, that's what I'm saying. The show was kind of cringy at times and not well written and stuff like that. And there were some plot holes, but I feel like there was some deep underneath the top layer, there was some deep psychological concepts and things that we don't like to talk about, that we feel very uncomfortable talking about in society, in American society. In America, Americans love to pretend that they don't have XXX, and that's obviously not the case. And I think that the repression of it and talking about and stuff is harmful. And but yeah, overall with the show, I really enjoyed that. So there's an article, speaking of long, 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 long things. I just saw an article that I want to bring up. Oh my Lord. Let's see. Lord, these shrimps is good. Am I the only person that eats shrimp tails? I eat the tail because it tastes like a chip to me. It tastes crunchy like a shrimp chip. Okay. So, oh my Lord. This video is definitely going to be, I don't think it's going to be demonetized, but it's not going to be like full monetization. It's going to be like 50%. So, Sex Life's Brad on whether he's wearing a prosthetic eggplant in the shower scene. Lord, I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. And interestingly enough, Sarah Shahi, who played Billy, her and the guy Brad, the actor who played Brad, are dating in real life now. So they met on set of XXX Life, and now they're really dating. So fabulous, wonderful. So it's hard to go near the internet right now without reading about that shower scene in Netflix's XXX Life. If you don't know what we're talking about, sorry, what? Fast forward to 19 minutes and 50 seconds into episode 3 when we're given a flash of a truly colossal eggplant. The scene has already gone viral on TikTok with people filming and sharing their reactions to the clip. It's hardly surprising that there are lots of questions people want answered. Mainly, is that actually Brad's actor Adam Damos real eggplant, or is he wearing some kind of prosthetic? The actor recently insists he didn't use a body double, so make of that with what you will. Damos told Entertainment Weekly he was entirely comfortable with going full frontal because you read the script and you know what you're getting yourself into from the start. So I don't think you would sign on to do a show after reading the scripts and then say no last minute. The actor continued, we would have an intimacy coordinator and everyone would speak about it and their comfort levels. You would rehearse it so much that by the time you did it, it was a lot more comfortable than you'd assume. You discuss everything, hand movements, everything down to the breath. In the sex scenes, the breathing is an emotional thing. So you're discussing that journey, but then you're also discussing each individual's comfort level. Previously, showrunner Stacy Rukeyser told Collider that she thought the naked shower scene was key for showing off Cooper's obsession with his ex-wife boyfriend. Exactly, like, and men do compare their eggplant size, and some men do feel insecure and inadequate if they have small eggplants, or if a woman or someone says that it's small or whatever, they feel insecure, they feel inadequate. And so I'm not saying that necessarily Cooper had a small eggplant, but when looking at a colossal long long eggplant that Brad had, then you're like, whoa, okay. So, and then now Sarah Shahi, I wonder if she's trying to hold on to that man, because I'm sure that this actor probably has so many people hitting up his DMs trying to holler. Previously, showrunner Stacy told she thought the naked shower scene was key for showing off Cooper's obsession with his ex-wife boyfriend. Right. It was important to show how down the rabbit hole obsessed he's gotten, that he's now stalking his ex-wife's boyfriend. It's all internal. There's no dialogue. She then addressed the size of the eggplant and added, no, that's not a body double. I mean, people usually ask, is it real or is it prosthetic? And I can tell you what Adam Demos says about it, which is a gentleman never tells. So we are leaving that up to the viewer's imagination. According to Newsweek, a member of the prosthetic team confirmed that the scene does indeed feature a prosthesis, but we'll leave you to make up your own mind. Okay, so wait, what? What? A member of the prosthetics team confirmed that the scene does indeed feature a prosthesis, but he also said that he didn't use a body double. Okay, so then there is a prosthesis. There is a prosthesis, which makes sense because that thing was thanging. Okay, that thing was thanging. Okay, Lord, how many times did I rewind? Oh Lord. I'm sorry, Jesus. I have a picture of Jesus right here. I'm sorry. I rewound that mad times, man. I rewound it. At least I think I paused too. I rewound it and I paused and I was just like, oh my God. So anyway, okay, so there was also a clip too that I wanted to take a look at. Mike Vogel talking about how he prepared for the role of hold on, trying to for the XXX scenes.
You're like, why didn't I do this show when I was 20?
Yeah, what was I thinking?
Well, since these scenes really do take sex scenes to another level, what was it like for you guys to film them? I've heard the term intimacy coordinator a lot in new shows lately. Tell me what that person does and how it was for you and Sarah to do these scenes.
Yeah, well, it's honestly, it makes it so much easier. This is certainly, without a doubt, the most racy thing I've ever done and been a part of. The industry coordinator, Casey Hideki, was ours, and she did an incredible job. Every one of these scenes prior to filming was rehearsed. There was not a hand out of place. There was not a move that was made that was not expected. So you can go into these scenes, feel completely protected, completely taken care of, and it allows you to concentrate more on the emotion and what's happening with these characters, knowing that there's no surprises coming your way. And I think for a show like this, it's a necessity, and they did it wonderfully.
So let me ask you, you're married. What did your wife think of this show? Did she
Mm-hmm.
read the script? Did she want you to do it?
She did. I gave her the kill switch, and we have 2 daughters. And for me, it's important, I think, for them to see that desire and passion and wants and all of those things are important and are a necessary ingredient in your relationships. And when those things take a back seat, relationship sometimes is not enough to cover that spread. So it was a very important and timely story. That
All right, that's enough. So yeah, I don't know. Well, you guys can leave me a comment. Like, what do you think? Like, if you had a spouse that was an actor, like, would you be comfortable with them doing a movie like this, a scene like this? And like, of course, I'm a movie person, so of course I thought about these things, and I intend to, of course, right now I'm working on my role behind the camera. I intend in the future to do more stuff in front of the camera. I thought about, like, what if I have to do a kissing scene or sex scene, whatever. I mean, I would definitely have to be with someone who would be okay with that. And I feel like I would be okay with it too, because I mean, I wouldn't want to be on set that day watching, but like, it's movie making, like, but I would like to know what you guys think. Like, would you be okay with your partner doing that? Like, would you be okay with that? So, yes, that was a lot. All right. So, on that note, I will also say, hold up, you can go to this. So we remember how the show ended. The show ended with Sarah Shahi. I actually low key, a lot of people were saying that they was not feeling the ending, but I like how she was like, all right, cool. You know what? I love my husband. I'm staying with my husband, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna be a mom, and whatever. And she decided to go back to their basic Caucasian XXX life. So, hey, what's up, Tex? How you doing? How you doing? On that note, hey everybody, if you're entering now, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like. We really appreciate it. It's really helpful. But, I like how they went to the school fair, and she was sitting in there, and she's watching, and her kid is being so cute, and her husband's being forgiving, and they're just like, and she's just like starting to spiral. She's like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't, it's not enough. It's not enough for me. And, you know, also the other couple that was there, the one that they had gone to the XXX party with, the swingers. I love that they included swingers in this show, like, because the swingers world is a whole the swingers world is a whole world out there. Let me tell you, you would be surprised how many married people swing, go to clubs, swinging clubs, switch spouses. That thing is a real thing. Don't ask me how I know, okay? But I'm telling you, it's a whole world, a whole freaking world. So I'm so glad that they actually showed it. And I do like that, they were like, oh, let's check it out at first. And then it just got uncomfortable. And she's just like, no, I'm not really feeling it. And also, the stuff that you saw going on in the Singers Club, it was very well portrayed. It's very accurate. Tax says, what's going on with your name? Love face? What do you mean? What is love face? Can you explain that? So, my name, Love Face. What do you mean? Um, So the end, when Billy, she's like, it's not enough. And she literally runs the city, which I'm just like, how does this bitch be getting to and from the city so damn fast? Like, you didn't really tell me what she do. She called the Uber, she took it to LIR, took the LIR to Manhattan. She had to wait on the platform, take the LIR to the city, then catch the train and take the train to the village. Like, it just made no sense unless she took Uber or something. Like, okay, that might make sense a little bit. But yeah, I thought that was kind of crazy. And then she just burst into the apartment. She's like, I'm not leaving my husband, but F me now. Like, and I think there is a place in the world. It's starting to happen more and more where married people are having slightly open marriages, or marriages with hall passes, or rules, or like, hey, if you go on vacation, you can go on vacation, then and do what you want. Like, people are doing different things. Oh, you said what's going on? Oh, the person in chat, I keep trying to block this person. I thought I blocked it. Hold on. Let me see. I'm trying to block this person spamming me right now. I'm trying to block this person. I can't do it from my phone because I'm using StreamYard. This is so annoying. Like, the bots, like, YouTube got to get under control of the bots. If you see this love face person, can you report their comment? Like, mark it as spam, or report it or something, because this is ridiculous. Oh no! I accidentally put on my thing. Wait, it wants me to refresh, but if I refresh, it's going to end the broadcast. Whatever. Just ignore it. I'm sorry. I tried to get the spam off, but it's not coming off. Anyway. So yeah, she runs to the city and goes to Brad's apartment, just like, F me now. And yeah, people are having different kinds of marriages now because, I don't know. Well, y'all know I'm jaded. I do talk about guys and stuff and relationships, what I want, whatever. I'm very jaded. Don't take relationship advice from me at all. Like, seriously. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes I do feel like the concept of marriage, or like the one that, like, let's say we grew up, the one that I saw on the television, because it was not in my real life. I didn't see it in my real life, in my family, or anything like that. Oh, they've been blocked, but you can still see their name. Well, I thought it would remove them. Okay, I don't know what to do. Uncle says it's already been blocked. Hey girl, how you doing? I guess I'm trying to see if I can make you a mod, but I can't do that through StreamYard. I have to do that on YouTube. All right, maybe when I watch the replay, I might be able to do it. But anyway, so Billy's character, her doing with her thing. I don't think Cooper is going to be down for it. I don't think he's going to be okay with her wanting to have her ex-boyfriend side piece, especially because Cooper has already spent so much time comparing himself to this guy. Like, he's not going to be okay with that. And so, oh wait, I was talking about myself and marriage and stuff like that. Yeah. Sometimes when I think about the concept of marriage, the marriage that I grew up watching on TV, or like, let's say, looking through the peephole and looking at my friends, some of my friends' parents, sometimes it feels like it's unrealistic. Like, unrealistic to think you're gonna be married in a committed monogamous relationship. Like, it just really seems unrealistic. And for me personally, growing up, I didn't witness that at all in my family. Nobody. Like, I can honestly and truly 100% say that there is not a single relationship in my family that I could look up to and say, that is love, And I know that you shouldn't base your thought of relationships off of other people's goals because everybody goes through things, but there's just like certain levels of toxicity that's just like, if I have to be married, if I have to go through that to be married, I don't not want it. So I don't know. I don't think Cooper is gonna be okay with her wanting to F her ex. I also don't think her ex is going to be okay because he was trying to get her to marry him. So he's trying to get her to marry him, and she's just coming to him saying, "I just want to F you." So what? She's going to F him, keep Fing him for months and months and months, and then he's gonna leave and go back to her husband. And like, does she have? Girl, how you gonna let that coochie rest? She gonna be going to her, she gonna be going to her ex, and then she got to keep her husband satisfied. Like, girl, that thing gonna be worn out. Just gonna rub a hole in that thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, is that misogynistic to say? It's not true. That's not true. But I'm just trolling. It just seems like a lot of work. You know what I mean? And I just don't think that her husband is gonna go for it. And so let's look at the article that talks about the next season or whatever. So Sex Life renewed for season 2 by Netflix after season 1 draws in 67 million households. And why they drove in so many people, I'm gonna talk about that next. Because I believe what I was saying earlier in the stream, that XXX in movies is a lost art. It's a lost thing. Like, it doesn't happen as much anymore. Like, what happened to those dirty, naughty, raunchy movies? And I think a part of it is because they want, you know, universal appeal. I think that Netflix and a lot of these streaming services, when they make their own shows like Amazon, Apple, or whatever, they want to, if at some point in the future, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the lane, they want to be able to syndicate. They want to be able to syndicate their stuff onto television. And so a show like XX is about Sex Life is set. There's no way Sex Life can be syndicated. Like, there's no way. I mean, they might be able to shorten sex scenes or zoom in close, maybe blur. I don't know. Actually, no, I don't think so. I don't think they'd be able to do that. But they may be able to get the show onto other streaming services, which will allow them to use, keep it as it is, which I think is like a NC rated NC-17, which is what I think it would be. Tech says that Ti does a swinger thing too. Exactly. Listen, a lot of the celebrities do the swinging thing. Yeah, Ti and Tiny are very open about it. What's her name? Iman Shumpert and Tiana Taylor, very open about it. Did she talk? She's, straight up said that she takes women down. Like, I don't care what anybody says. If I want to take down a woman with my husband, then I will. Which is like, ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Like, no one asked you what y'all were doing. Like, nobody cares. And so I'm sure their list is probably really long because you always see her hanging over different women like Drea and stuff like that. I'm like, they probably saw all those people. Who else did they talk about doing that? Will Smith and Jada, Will Smith and Jada's marriage. I also feel like people judge Will and Jada too harshly because of their open thing. They try and make it seem like Will Smith is the victim, but Will Smith has had a girlfriend. If you follow Lovely T, I'm a tea sipper, okay? I'm a proud tea sipper. If you follow Lovely T, you will know that Will Smith has had a girlfriend, like a girlfriend for years. For years. They travel together, post pictures, like they'll post like the same traveling pictures and stuff. She's very low key. And he's been with her for donkey years. Like, he's been with her for a long time. And Jada has been with, we know at least August Alsina and different other people and stuff like that. And that's just their thing. And like, a lot of people are in relationships where people are cheating on them actively and judging them harshly. But it's like, I don't know, the modern way, I feel like things are changing, and the idea of marriage sometimes to me, like I said, seems unrealistic, starting to seem archaic. And I know something like this shouldn't affect me, but definitely the Rihanna thing, I was thinking about it and thinking on it, since I made my commentary. I'm glad I took a little bit of time to think about my commentary before actually stating it in my last live stream, but I'm just like, looking at Rihanna, she really could have the pick of the litter, but I called her a bird, on my stream. I do think she is kind of a bird. And I'm probably still have some bird tendencies. I used to be a super, super bird, very bird brained. And you know, she is gonna pick a guy who kind of meets her where she's at in her bird mind, so he is like probably on her level mentally in some way, or at least like, she could pick a straight edge guy, she could pick an executive who's real low key and just in the cut, whatever. But that's not what she likes. She got that whole song Rude Boy, she dated Drake, Chris Brown, this, you know what I'm saying? So she was with someone on her level mentally, um she I as I said, I also think that she just picked someone because she was like, all right, you come on, let's go. I need to have a kid like right now, so let's just do this. We're friends, we know each other a long time, like, whatever, you're not broke, like, fine, let's fine and here, like, I feel like she's just kind of like that, and that's not no judgment. And yeah, I saw some people were complaining, like I said before, about her not being married and stuff like that. And to me, I feel like Rihanna is above marriage, right? She's past marriage. She said previously that people try and make it seem like you didn't do something, you're doing things wrong if you don't get married and have a kid, yada yada. And I feel like when you're a billionaire, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. When you have money, it doesn't matter. She doesn't need to get married, you know. She'll probably have kids. She have a kid by ASAP, and then her next boyfriend, she have a kid by him, and then maybe the next boyfriend, she have a kid by him, and then she's done. She's like, all right, great, sounds good. I'm happy. Have my kids, whatever. I meet this person. I'm in a relationship with them. We're together 2-3 years, and we have a kid because we loved each other and we wanted to create a kid. And now, things happen and we break up, and so we break up and we move on to the next relationship and we take care of the kid. And of course, there's an argument with that about having kids whose parents is in separate households and stuff like that. Where the argument very valid, agree with it, especially when you look at like Nick Cannon and people like that. I mean, I don't think that if you're being in a relationship with someone over like say 10 years and you have different child, like different baby daddies, I guess you would say, over like many years, then it's like, okay, that's one thing. But like what he's doing is obviously very vile and disgusting and borderline, I don't want to say evil, but there's some like, what do you call it, sexual deviance going on there. That's just like gross. Text says Will and Jada's entanglement. Yeah, exactly. The entanglement. Like I really, because she, Jada is very progressive. She had an opportunity there to come out and say, like, this is what it is. This is what happened. Me and my husband have an open marriage. We have an open marriage. I know y'all not gonna like to hear that, but I started hanging out with this guy and we came together and we built a relationship and the relationship turned romantic. We spent a lot of time together and this will happen, Like I think that like she had a missed opportunity, and since I think she caved to the shame. She was shamed, she was ridiculed. She was, oh wait, no, she was shamed and ridiculed after she said the entanglement. So if she would have just been honest and just said what it was. And then people were also talking about in Will Smith's book about how in the book he talks about, I guess, that he was jealous of Tupac and stuff like that. So their marriage there's a lot going on for many years. Will Smith is not a victim, okay? I really hate when I see people making it seem like he is. Tex says, I don't plan on ever getting married. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Sometimes, like I said, I'm starting to feel like it's unrealistic. And right now I feel more so that I just want to meet a partner who's a good person, who I really like being around, someone who I like being together with, and someone who I like being alone with, if that makes sense. Like my last relationship, one thing I liked is that we weren't always all over each other, all on top of each other and stuff like that. He had his own life, he had his own friends, and we'd be in the house together sometimes, and he'd be in the other room with his dirt clothes. I'd be in the other room by myself doing my computer thing. And good, loved it. I'm here with you, but we don't have to talk. We don't have to be all up under each other. We're good. We go to bed together at night. Love it. Wonderful. Someone you can just do life with, basically. And I don't know, like I said, yeah, it just seems like sometimes it's unrealistic. And a lot of stuff that we watch as kids, y'all know the romantic comedies of the 2000s were very brainwashy, almost it's almost like brainwashing watching those romantic comedies, or the 90s romantic comedies and stuff like that. I haven't witnessed no shit like that. I mean, obviously I will say that I've had bad taste, mostly bad taste in men. My picker was very bad, very, very bad. Um because of low self-esteem, mental health issue, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just like, it's hard to ignore it when you see hundreds and thousands upon thousands of comments on YouTube videos, on Reddit. And I read this stuff all the time. Like, I have this obsession, this desire to understand people. I know what they think, so I am always in some fucking comment section, reading comments, reading replies. When I read a comment, I look at the likes. 700 people agree with this person. Then there's comments. 100 people are commenting saying, yes, I agree with this, that, I don't agree. People arguing with them. So I feel like I have a gauge of like what people really think. And I don't know, it's not looking good for us right now. It's not looking good. It's not looking good, especially for the millennials. It's not looking good for us. I have an article up. I'm 37. I might be single forever, and I'm happy with that. I haven't read it yet. People were going nuts about this article on Twitter. Like, the comments is very, and it's full of tons of red pillars. Just like, oh, you fucking Spencer, you're gonna die alone with cats and all this kind of shit. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, why don't you guys let that go? Like, oh my God, Like, imagine you're in your 30s and you're talking about forever alone. Like, 30 is not old, man. Like, 30, oh my God. It's so stupid. I'm sorry, I just went off on a tangent, but I feel like Sex Life exposed something. And the thing is like, I don't know, where was I under a rock that I didn't hear about this show at all. I mean, I think I don't really be on Netflix that much. I'd be more so on Hulu because I pay for Hulu. So I'm like, oh, I got to watch Hulu. But people obviously had 67 million viewers. Like, it's got a lot of people talking, but I wonder if people are talking about the real psychological aspects behind this. The fact that there's a over 50% divorce rate. There's this there is this terrifying, truly terrifying. I'm a woman, so obviously I'm in women's spaces. There is a truly nightmare-inducing, terrifying sub on Reddit called, I think it's called Breaking Moms. Let me see. It's called Breaking Mom. Oh my Lord. If you could read the things that these mothers go through with their husbands, the group has, I just looked, 91,000 members. And like I said, hundreds of comments. Tons of articles and posts of women, the things that they go through. I mean, literally raising their children alone. They have their spouse living in the same house and they're raising their children alone. And the fathers don't have time. I'm coming from a woman's perspective, okay? I can't speak for what men go through, all right? So please just keep that in mind. I'm not trying to shit on men or anything like that. I'm just coming from a woman's place. This is my worst fucking fear. The show Sex Life is my worst fucking fear. And I think that's why it resonated with me and why I wanted to come on here and talk about it. It's my worst fear to be, you get married and have kids and be effing stuck. If you're not stuck, let's say working and taking care of the kid 24/7, you're doing everything, you're taking them to practice, you're cleaning up after them, you're watching them, you're bathing them, you try and let your husband do it, but he doesn't do it right, he doesn't do it properly, he doesn't do it thoroughly, then you have to go after him and do the shit. And I'm saying this because I don't have kids, but I've been in relationships where I lived with people, stay with people, and this ended up happening. And I'm like, I just cannot go through that again. These women are broken down. They have nothing left to give. Some of them are working and literally burning the candle at both ends. They have no time for themselves at all. Like, they have multiple kids. And this why people do try and say, women don't keep themselves up. They end up 40 and they got a gut and all this kind of shit. I'm just like, what do you think? If someone's working full time and doing all the child rearing, they're staying up all night, they're not get well rested, they're gonna start to age faster, like, especially if you like, it's a whole lot of shit. And man, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm a part of a group, one of my counseling groups. I'm in multiple counseling groups that I meet. There's a woman in our group who was like this. And she literally has to be on medication, man. She's literally on medication because she has panic attacks and she has these like chest spasms from the stress of her like doing everything. She's like super mom, she's doing everything, cooking, cleaning, working, that, managing that. The girl, I mean, she comes worn out, man. It's just like sad to see. I'd be sitting there like wanting to say something. I'm like, let me keep my mouth. Let me keep my single, no child mouth, unmarried mouth shut. Yeah, it's just sad. It's my worst fear. Like Billy, how she felt like she couldn't finish her career. Like, I don't know what I would do if I had a baby and another small toddler. I had to constantly look after all day, and even when my spouse comes home, because, oh my God, like, and cook and clean and prepare for school activities. And you can't do this, that. If I couldn't do my film, oh man, Lord have mercy. That sounds horrible. That sounds like torture, man. That sounds like fucking torture. Text says there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. There's nothing wrong with being alone. No, nothing wrong with being alone. I like being alone, but obviously don't like being lonely. And that's something that I've been dealing with since my dad passed and stuff like that, staying at his house, living in his house and stuff. But yeah, sex life. It really was kind of triggering because I'm like, it was like, is this the prophecy? Like, is this what it's gonna be? Looking at this, like, oh my God, like that sounds horrible. But for me, I feel like I gotta have my kid. I gotta have a kid. And I don't want one. I feel like kids are like dogs. Like, you can't just have one. You gotta have like two, at least two, so they can have each other. And I feel like if I didn't have kids, I would definitely regret. I know that I would regret it. I know for a fact that I would regret it. And I also feel like having a kid is like one of my ways that I can right my past wrongs, to, to take what I didn't get and just dump all this love onto a little baby. Like, I just want to love it and show it things and teach it things and dress it up and just watch it grow and take it to Disney World. I want to do all those things, like I do have that mother desire in me, but it is being beaten by fear of being forced to, or having to take on 8% of the labor, of the emotional labor. Obviously, you're carrying it, and y'all get what I'm trying to say. I literally feel exhausted talking about it. Like, whoo! All right, that was a big ass rant just to talk about season 2 being renewed. So Netflix has renewed Sex Life for a second season. The streamer also has revealed that the first season of the steamy drama was watched by 67 million households in the first 4 weeks since its May 25th release. Netflix's metric counts households that have watched 2 or more minutes of the program. The 67 million is the third largest audience for original Netflix series, only behind the first seasons of Bridgerton and The Witcher, though the streamer's subscriber base is ever expanding, which is boosting viewership figures for newer shows. Set to return for season 2 are Sex Life series regulars Sarah Shahi, Mike Vogel, Adin Damos, and Margaret Odette. Production will take place once again in Toronto. What? This shit was shot in Toronto? Oh, wait. Wait, what? It was shot in Toronto? Damn. Wait, they really fooled me. Dang. I've been fooled. I've been duped, bamboozled, and hoodwinked. Dang. Okay. Well, they must have got them exteriors in New York, which is not surprising. Inspired by the novel Sex Life, 44 chapters about 4 men. Sex Life was created and written by Stacy Rukeyser, who serves as the showrunner. Blah, 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 blah. Sex Life is a dream come true, Rukeyser said, to create a show about empowered female sexuality that has entranced so many millions of viewers is not only immensely fun, but also incredibly gratifying. When I think about all the women who have reached out from all over the world to say that the show speaks to them in a deeply personal way, I am so inspired. I am thrilled and grateful for the opportunity to continue telling this story for Billy. Yeah. This show is... Thank you, Netflix. So some of the comments. Thank you, Netflix. One of the best shows, especially directed by women. Your favorite says, this worst show Netflix has ever created. I'm a huge Shafi fan, but this was pure trash. Someone says, so if I watched the first 3 minutes of the show, then turned it off after 5 minutes because I wasn't into it, Netflix still counts it as watching, and everyone's okay with the viewership metric. Terrible show. Mike Vogel looks fantastic though and deserves better. One of the worst shows Netflix has put out this year. Really disappointing to see some of the trash they've renewed when they're canceling good shows left, right, and center. Well, it's more Twitter flicks and Instaflix. They only care about trending topics and that crap. Well, whatever. Like, it's being renewed for a second season. I was just trying to think of what I think is going to happen. I feel like they're probably going to pick right off directly when Billy goes to Brad's house and she's just, because they cut it off right when she says, I'm never leaving my husband. Now, fuck me. And so it zooms in on him and then it cuts out. And so I think they're going to pick right up directly from when that happened. They're going to start with the scene. And that was actually so crazy because Brad was tracking her phone and Cooper was tracking her husband. Cooper was tracking her phone. You could see her going back to his place. And he was just looking at it like he was looking, but like we actually don't know what the nature is. So I think that Cooper might have told her, go do it with him and see what happens. Or she might have been like, I'm never leaving my husband. Cooper, I will never leave you, but I just want to P and V him one more time. And I feel like that it's going to be something along those lines. And I definitely think that Brad is going to think that it's okay for him to keep effing her, but then eventually it's going to not be okay with him because he's going to want more. I think that Cooper is going to possibly have his own little side piece, or he's going to start to explore his XXXuality some more. And Tex says, I have Hulu. Yes, so this show is actually on Netflix. I'm sure you can find it online somewhere, like on one of them illegal sites, but I'm using my cousin's Netflix account, so thanks to her. Shout out to Andrea, like honestly. So I think that's what's gonna happen. Her friend, I hope that we can see more of her friend, the Sasha character, learn a little bit more about her background. I would like to see her perhaps pursue some kind of relationship or something, because I felt like her character, like I said, she was too tertiary. She was too just just like a fall. She was like a fall point for Billy's character, right? Just someone she could call when she needed to tell parts of the story, parts how she felt. And I feel like Sarah Shahi, obviously, she's gonna come back, reprise her role. I feel like I really liked. I really related. She played that broken down, tired ass mom role way too good. They had her. She had bags under her eyes. They had her looking so dried out sometimes. And it was makeup because when they showed her when she was supposed to be in her younger years, she looked like how she normally looks, like refreshed, beautiful. And Sarah Shahi, I believe, is 42. She's at 42 or 44. Beautiful. She's still fucking beautiful. All this shit about, women, oh, once you get 30, you're disgusting, you're ugly, hit the wall, whatever. Like, to say, like, one of y'all mother effers wouldn't kill to be with Sarah Shahi, like, drop dead, gorgeous woman, 42, banging body, like, like that's what I want to be when I grow up. That's how I want to be when I grow up. And yeah, she just killed in the show. Show was hot in some moments. I definitely rewound. I was rewounded. Okay. I rewound multiple scenes. So um so there was one last thing that I wanted to talk about. I had something else I was going to talk about, 90 Day Fiance, but I'm going to catch up on this episode, most recent episode, and then I'm going to do that in my next one. Okay, I wanted to talk about what I was saying earlier on in the stream. This is going to be my last subject. That hold on. Still loading. So sex or XXX. I keep saying I'm gonna stop saying it. Like, whatever. I know this is gonna be like not demonetized, but it's gonna be like 50%. So XXS is disappearing from the big screen and it's making movies less pleasurable. My theory about this is because, like I said, they want to syndicate television shows. They want to put them on CBS or TNT or whatever in a couple years. So that's why they know that, like, some of the, I believe the largest population of people who go see movies is teenage boys. They want teenage boys to be able to get into the movie theater without having to bring a parent. So this is one of the reasons why you hardly see movies that's rated R anymore. And I think it's really bad. I think that movies are suffering. Like, for adults, we already know there are too many remakes, remaking this, do that. But to take these adult themes out of movies, to not be able to see passion and XXX and nudity and all this kind of stuff, like, I feel like these are important to show. So let's read this theory from the Washington Post. At the Cannes Film Festival last month, the scandal arrived with the metronomic predictability. Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood might have been the week's hottest tickets, and Korean filmmaker Bong Joon-ho might have taken the cherished Palme d'Or. Bong Joon-ho, I believe, is who directed the Korean movie Parasite, the really famous one that won the Oscar like 3 years ago. But it was Abdulatif Kechiche's Mektub, My Love intermezzo that set tongues wagging, literally and figuratively. The nearly 4-hour film caused a ruckus, not just because of its derriere numbing running time. Most of it spent observing nubile teenage girls twerking to a pounding soundtrack of club music, but because of a 15-minute scene of cunnilingus filmed so realistically that questions immediately arose as to whether it was unsimulated. What's this movie called? I'm sorry. I like to watch XXX movies. I told y'all, I was saying in the beginning of the stream that I like erotic thrillers. And like that's something that I actually want to write, like, like Fatal Attraction or Unfaithful, with Diane. God, why is her name slipping me? Richard Gere and Diane Lane. Yes, Diane Lane. What's the movie with Taking Lives, Angelina Jolie? Um, what else? Temptation. I forget what the actress's name. Temptation, another erotic thriller. Love that. So, um, Graphic XXX is a longtime staple at Cannes, where in 2003, director Vincent Gallo outraged audiences with a scene of him receiving oral from Chloe Sevigny in The Brown Bunny, and where 10 years later, viewers were confronted with the sight of several male members in various degrees of tumescence in Stranger by the Lake, followed by 17 minutes X scene in XXX's Les Be Honest, coming of age story. Blue is the warmest color. Oh yeah, Blue is the warmest color is not an erotic thriller, but that is a Let's Be Honest film, and I think is one of the greatest. I've only seen it once, but I think it's like such a fantastic film. It's very long. It's like 3 hours, but I feel like I love the fact that they showed that character. The character arc is like showing where she started to where she became. It was like amazing. It's a French movie. So if you're ever into a foreign film, a foreign freaky, let's be honest film, that one is a good one. Um the actresses in Blue is the warmest color intimated that they felt poorly treated by XXX on that set of that film. This year, he faced accusations that he plied his young intermezzo actors with alcohol until they engaged in real life XXX acts for the camera. What the hell? Meanwhile, as that controversy played out in the Riviera, U.S. audiences were flocking to see John Wick and whatever. Oh yeah, okay, that's probably pointful. That's not a word. In the U.S., audiences were flocking to see John Wick in between making Avengers a game and Aladdin huge hits. One of them a dark, fetishly violent thriller, one a live action comic book, one a Disney fairy tale, all resolutely sex-free. Thus, does a familiar pattern repeat itself? The summer begins with a new crop of actually explicit, mostly European movies set off from Cannes to the festival circuit and eventually to brief art house runs, while Hollywood turns out its chief export of gun-happy escapism and wholesome kid stuff, which is basically like the Marvel movies. Between those two channels, the classic X scene, once a staple of high gloss, adult oriented mainstream movies, has been largely forgotten and ignored. Recommitted to very esoteric margins it sprang from generations ago. Also, another XXX thriller I just remembered was Eyes Wide Shut. XXX has always been a part of American cinema. Here it is. Here's the Sharon Stone movie I was talking about. Basic Instinct. That's what I meant. XXX has always been a part of American cinema. 90 years ago, Louise Brooks scandalized audiences with her brazen, exhilarating, unabashed eroticism in the silent classic Pandora's Box. I remember we had to watch that in film class, in film history. Actually, I think that was my German cinema class, actually. In the late 1920s and early 1930s, before the enforcement of the censorious Hays Code, film studios competed over whose movies could be the most daring and delighted in sneaking naughty material past local decency boards. So the Hays Code is basically this organization that told movies what they could and could not show in films. So they would say, for example, in the Hays Code that like two actors couldn't kiss for longer than 3 seconds. Or they would say that you can't show a toilet in a movie. Actually, the movie Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock was the first movie to show a toilet in the film. Like right before, when Marion Crane, with the if you guys are not familiar with film, Psycho is the first movie where it has the knife sound, and that they showed a toilet in that movie. That was the first one that's ever been shown in movies, and that was in 1960. I want to say 68. So something else in the Hays Code was that you could not show a gun. If you showed God, why did I say it? If you show a pow pow, you couldn't show a pow pow with a bullet leaving the pow pow. You had to show, oh no, I'm sorry. You could show a pow pow with a bullet what am I saying? You couldn't show someone using a pow pow and shooting someone. Oh, fuck it. You couldn't show a gun and someone shooting someone in the same frame. So if you wanted to show someone getting shot, you had to show the gun with the bullet leaving and then showing the person in another shot like this and dying. You couldn't show gun and person in the same frame. So those were just like some random things, the Hays Code. So although the golden age of Hollywood, during which the industry censored itself by the way of the production code, produced some deliciously provocative innuendo and ingenious workarounds. It wasn't until the 1950s and 1960s when American audiences were able to see new, explicit films from post-war Europe that sex became not just titillating, but downright respectable. Such films as And God Created Woman and Belle de Jour introduced a new formal convention to discerning cineasts, I don't know, who could couch their more what? Come on, man, just talk regular. I don't know what these words mean. Convention to discerning cineastes who could couch their more prurient instincts in terms of liberated expression, highbrow sensuality, and an uncompromising realism. Of course, even when the artiest imports were uncanny enough to have it both ways, 1972's The Last Tango in Paris was just one example of what could be gained from cultural importance confirmed by, okay, this is whatever, blah, blah, blah. Both those films, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Arguably, seduction and suggestion are almost always sexier in movies than the act itself. Witness Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman's prolonged kiss in Notorious, or Kevin Costner painting Susan Sarandon's toenails and Bull Durham. So sometimes, actually, in movies, in some of those old movies, you'll see certain things like what they just talked about, someone painting someone's toenails. They would do that in old movies to kind of signify that the people had sex. Like they would, have the woman posed in some kind of way with her toes out and show the man on his knees or something like that, painting her toenails or something. There was in one particular movie, Lolita, which was a very, just look up Lolita. I don't even want to talk about it on the channel, but Lolita, an older man with an underage girl. They couldn't obviously show them doing it, so they signified it by him having him painting her toenails. And actually, this movie Notorious with Cary Grant, Ingrid Bergman is one of my favorite movies. And if I recall correctly, they had the prolonged kiss, but they might have done something to show them kissing longer while getting around the Hays Code without breaking the rules. Like maybe they showed them kissing and then they showed them in a mirror reflection kissing or something like that. But it was like, yeah. So, but when a sex scene works, when it exists for more authentic reasons than shock value or sophomore giggles and manages to involve viewers more deeply than mere voyeurism, it exemplifies one of those rare things that movies do best. Well-conceived sex scenes are capable of producing a spontaneous physical friction just as cathartic and gratifying as a sudden belly laugh or a good cry. As a critic, Jonathan Rosenbaum has noted, movie sex is the ultimate special effect, and now it's pretty much gone. We know why. With the onset of internet porn, viewers look for vicarious thrills had instant access to a cheap private universe of polymorphous gratification. While Hollywood embraced a business model centered around wholesome baby boomer nostalgia, yeah, this is so stupid. It's like, do they think that we're stupid? That you just keep, I just cut myself mid-sentence, that you keep giving us these remakes and these low, that don't require a lot of thinking, don't require, like, audiences are more smart than that. You know what I mean? I believe audiences are more smart than that. So while Hollywood embraced a business model centered around wholesome baby boomer nostalgia and PG-13 franchises, cable television and streaming services found their own niche, engaging in Game of Thrones like one-upmanship in violence, profanity, and sex. Movies such as Brokeback Mountain and Milk, which broke ground in representing gay protagonists, shied away from depicting the most intimate mechanics of men having XXX to the consternation. What are these words? Consternation? I'm gonna have to start writing some of these down. Like, I know I'm not slow. I have a big vocabulary, but I never heard that word in my life. To the consternation of viewers who wanted to see their sexuality represented and normalized. But the form of recloseting was a piece with an era in which, when sexual activity was portrayed at all, it was seen as a matter of compulsion and anxiety, or played for adolescent laughs. Today, whether it's in Long Shot or Rocket Man, the XXX scene has been reduced to a shorthand, an instantly recognizable grammar that begins with some jokey or flirtatious foreplay, cuts to some flesh, tasteful enough to honor the actor's no nudity clause, then discreetly cuts away when things get real. You know what happened next, the camera seems to tell us. Do you really want me to spell it out for you? Yeah, but it's like, it's boring. It's giving basic bitch. It's giving boring. It's giving basic ass hoe. Like, come on, show me the goods. Like, let's see stuff. And I feel like that is such a lost thing. Definitely the sex scene is so lost. It's just not happening anymore. And actually, my feature that it's on my New Year's resolution to have my feature written by the end of the year, the first draft, in full, because I would like to shoot it next year, be in pre-production and stuff like that. I am not going to not have an XXX scene, like, and my film is even like, it's a romantic comedy drama. So, but the characters in my film are, at one point, they're just holding off. There's a lot of tensity building up. So I want that scene when it happens. It's gotta be everything that you're waiting for. Like, you gotta see that. You gotta feel that. You gotta feel the passion. You gotta feel the two beasts, the two animals coming together and getting it done. Anna says, full-on graphic X scenes in movies is overdone and seems so out of place most of the time. Just watch Corn if you want it to be that graphic. No, I mean, it was, in Sex Life, it was graphic, but I don't think that, like, I don't know. I don't think that they're the same thing. I mean, Sex Life was very graphic. I don't think that there's like, it's one or the other. It's black or white. Like, I feel like movies that show, like, Taking Lives, when Angelina Jolie has X with her client, that was a good example. Or what was the Fatal Attraction? Like, the man was cheating on his wife for a weekend. Like, we gotta, he's stepping outside the box, and he's doing something he never did before. He's cheating on his wife. Like, we're gonna have to see that passion, that explosion. Like, we need to see the, we need to see the things. So I feel like it's important. I did say, like, in Sex Life, that there were a couple sex scenes that were just like, what, like, it didn't advance the story. It wasn't necessary. But I definitely think that there needs to be more. Like, I'm thinking about Sex in the City, or I don't know. I don't agree, but it's fine. We can disagree. It's agree to disagree. I would expect there to be sex in a show called Sex Life, though. That makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense there. But I still feel like it's lost in movies. The erotic thriller there were so many erotic thrillers in the 90s, 80s and 90s, and it's a genre that kind of like went out of style. And I just feel like also that tension is lost in movies, like that sexual tension too, the build up, like the waiting for it to happen. The detective who I think that was the story of Basic Instinct, or it might be a different one. The detective who has the femme fatale, and he's following her, and he thinks she's partially guilty, but he's not really sure, and like the lines are blurry, and then eventually they just two beasts in the forest, come together, and it's like explosion. Like Korean movies have some good XXX scenes. Korean movies, they be getting it in, like they be going, it be going in, it be going down, like what I'm saying. Like I love that. I love it. I think it's great. So, well, yes. When you deprive audiences of a really good sex scene, you're depriving us of what once was one of the greatest enjoyments going to the movies, a part of classic cinematic grammar that, when choreographed with sensuality and sensitivity, can be memorable as genuine entertainment, maybe even great art, and not just a lascivious clip on Cornhub. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't agree that it shouldn't be graphic because, for example, a lot of people watch movies, a lot of people learn things from movies. And, like, for example, Sex Life, showing a woman getting that stuff, like, it's not shown on television. It's not shown in movies. It's not really shown about how women need to do pleasure and stuff like that. And I think that it's important. It doesn't have to be as graphic as they show in Sex Life, and it doesn't have to be like, why, like, I shouldn't have to watch corn if I want to see intimacy between people, especially when it's very much essential to the story, you know. So I want to see passion. I want to see the real passion between these characters. What's more, you're pretending to build a world grounded in realism that is completely devoid of one of the core elements and joys of the human experience. It's as if Hollywood, fixated on families, teenagers, and global markets, has given up on the American adults as anything more than arrested adolescents interested in only revisiting the distractions of their youth, which is great. That's kind of what I explained. In many ways, the skittishness reflects a culture that has found its own good reasons to turn away from X in movies, or at least look at it as askance. What are these words, dude? Oh my god. The person had to have been looking at a thesaurus out and like trying to find some other shit to say. 30 years ago, the AIDS epidemic made heated, heedless sex in movies not just irresponsible, but unrealistic. In the wake of the Me Too movement, what viewers once reflectively accepted as sexy is being reappraised within the context of the male gaze in cinema, in which women are portrayed as objects, stripped of agency, and reduced to mere vessels for men's wish fulfillment. And that's important to acknowledge as well. You know, as I talked earlier about the manic pixie dream girl, the industry is ran by men. The films are written by men, directed by men. So they basically describe female sexuality through men, through the way men view it, or the way men want to view it, or how they wish that it was. They pretend. So I think that that's important too, that you know women will watch these movies now, and instead of just going along with it, we're like, that's fake, take that down, get that out of here. Like, people will have comments, like people like me will sit up on YouTube and rag on it if it's not done right. What's more, audiences are now far more attuned to how life and art can't be separated. Stories of Marie Schneider feeling manipulated and misused on the set of Last Tango, or Kachiche's actresses expressing similar misgivings about how they were treated in Blue is the Warmest Color, forcing the discomforting discomfort what the fuck discomforting realization that all too often our visual pleasure has been generated by means of an exploitive and dehumanizing production process. So this is a still from Blue is the Warmest Color, the movie I was talking about earlier. There's a lesbianist film, and it's like 3 hours long. It's really good, really good. That leaves an entire cohort of filmgoers sorting out how our tastes have been formed and deformed by movies that present a desire from an overwhelmingly male heteronormative point of view, and how we reconcile that problematic lens with images we still find kind of hot. It's the lustful, aggressive, emotionally complex staircase scene in A History of Violence is wrong. I don't want to be right. If the lustful, I don't know, whatever. All right. All right, just 2 more paragraphs. To be sure, there's precious little to mourn in the death of the kind of ogling, soft-core wish fulfillment fantasies that male directors foisted on viewers for nearly a century. But is abstinence really our only option? No, it's not. Women can tell their own stories too. With young filmmakers being co-opted by the Disney Marvel complex, and with millennials and Generation Z reportedly having less sex than their predecessors, the new chastity on screen feels like a prudent but not entirely welcome new normal. It's like Game of Thrones, right? Like that was one of the things people loved about Game of Thrones was the graphic sex scenes, because it's just something you're just not seeing anymore. Also, Insecure. People love that about Insecure. Getting to see black people banging it out. I mean, banging it out on screen. Like, you know, these things I feel are important to be seen. They need to be seen. They need to be seen. And it doesn't have to be pornography. It doesn't have to be, you know, nothing implying the camera shows them kissing passionately and then it zooms down to their legs and then it fades to the next scene. Like, it doesn't have to be either or of those things. So okay, and it's not this what they just talked about, the intimacy coordinator earlier, and it's not like artists are incapable of getting sex right. Productions are now hiring intimacy coordinators to make sure sex scenes are being choreographed and staged with appropriate respect for physical boundaries and psychological well-being. Movies here and there have managed to suggest a way forward. Witness Alfonso Cuarón tenderly seductive love triangle in Y Tu Mama Tambien, and Angela Robinson's warm, deeply humanistic portrayal of polyamorous, this video is getting demonetized, sex and play in Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman, or Meg Ryan's satisfaction at the hands and other things of Mark Ruffalo and Jane Campanion's feminist urban thriller In the Cut. Ooh, I don't think I've seen that. Oh, and have any of y'all seen Y Tu Mama Tambien? Y Tu Mama Tambien? Ooh, look. That scene, that sex in that movie, ugh, man. I mean, I rewound. I was rewounding. I was rewounding that thing so many times. Iconic, iconic. That scene is like unlike any other scene I've seen in movies. Like, it was absolutely iconic. Whew. Even 50 Shades of Grey offered a potentially fruitful new grammar, making consent and stimulating part of foreplay rather than an instant buzzkill. 50 Shades of Grey was horrible. It was horrendous. It was horrendous. So, with luck, a new generation of writers, directors, and actors steeped in a non-binary, anti-shaman sexual culture. What is the non-binary? Well, what are you talking about? Sometimes I feel like they be sprinkling things in here just to sound all right. Whatever. I don't need to go on them trying to be woke rant. Sometimes I'm just like, all right, yeah, whatever. Like, why did they say that? So stupid. With luck, a new generation of writers, directors, and actors is poised to reclaim sex as a crucial element of mainstream style. Meanwhile, as studios who employ them try to figure out how to compete with peak TV and ever-multiplying streaming outlets, they might want to remember their own history, spectacles, and jump scares to get people into theaters, but so does a good old-fashioned snog. It's not that we're turned off from going to the movies. It's that the movies have stopped turning us on. I like that. That was a nice ending. We can look at a couple comments, just a little something just real quick. Oh, they might not let me look at them. Come on. Okay. I'm no prude and I decry most censorship, but I don't need to see explicit sex on screen anymore than I need to see explicit violence. The artful on-screen suggestion is often more than enough, and sometimes one's own imagination is more powerful than explicit anyway. Having the camera cut away at the right moment also can remove the potential embarrassment of viewing the film with someone else, such as a first date. That's so stupid. Where it can feel suddenly awkward during such a scene. So the whole entire industry should do that just because you don't want to feel awkward on a date. That sounds so stupid. I don't understand why on-screen sex is a no-no, but on-screen killing, often quite gory, is tolerated. The vast majority of the audience has had or will have sex in their life, while the vast majority will never kill another human. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. America has this like very Puritan, anti XXX. We don't do it. We don't do X. You know, women are bad if they like X. You know, like it's very much like that. I don't understand it. And that's the thing too, is that like that I love about Korean films, because Korean culture is actually very conservative. But when it comes to their movies, and they've even talked about it in the movies, they say Koreans love X. Like they love, like the guy, I remember a guy, I was watching a Korean movie, he was like, Koreans love sex. Like we're always doing it. Like they're like rabbits, pretty much. And when you watch their movies, you can see that, and it's graphic and it's intense and it's real. And I like that they don't try and portray that Puritan crap that I was talking about. Like, well, when it comes to their TV stuff, the daily TV stuff, a little bit, but is any short comments? Okay, that's fine. I'm done with that. Anyway, so that's all I have for you today. 2 hours and 11 minutes. Wow, I didn't expect to talk about this that long. But yeah, I feel like it's a very interesting topic. Y'all know, y'all can tell I'm passionate about movies. I love movies, and I do want to bring y'all more TV and shows reviews. If you have anything that you think I should watch, leave it in a comment. I will watch something, and if it's really good, I'll try and if it touched me in some way, leave a review on it or something like that. I've been watching a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about besides the whole 9-Day Fiance, Married at First Sight. I just started the new season, Married at First Sight. I'm not ready to talk about it yet. I probably won't until we're a bit further on in the season. But yeah, 90 Day Fiance. 90 Day Fiance. I haven't watched the latest episode, so I do have Wednesday show. Khalil is going to be an official Wednesday show co-host, so you will see her every Wednesday. So right now, my streaming days are Mondays at 8. I know today it was an hour late. I'm sorry, but Mondays at 8 and Wednesdays at 8. So this is what it is for now. I usually try and have the main stream of what it's going to be about up the day before, if not earlier on that same day. But it's Mondays at 8, Wednesdays at 8. I do want to add a weekend day, but it's just, right now I'm still kind of going out on the weekends, trying to keep my noggin healthy, trying to pretend like I have friends and stuff like that. So, I might end up like, if I don't end up going out on Saturday, because Friday is Friday, I'm going out Fridays. If I don't end up going out on Saturday, sometimes I like to add a late night stream, get on here, talk about whatever, have a call in, whatever we want to do. But yeah, Mondays, Wednesdays, 8:00. And so I'm trying to also, I know it's been a while since I posted a vlog. I have so many videos, but this vlog that I'm working on is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. And I would like to have that come out on Tuesday. So if I could do Monday stream, Tuesday new video, Wednesday stream. If I could do Thursday another video, and then have off Friday through Sunday, that's my life's goal. That's what I'm trying to work up to. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this stream, please smash that motherfucking like button, like punch it in the face, like you in the like button, you better like now. I'm sorry, I need these likes. If you want to refresh the page, leave me a comment. Remember, I had asked earlier in the stream if you would let if your spouse was an actor, would you let them act in a movie where they was kissing or hugging on someone like in Sex Life? Like, would you allow that to happen? Why not? Why not? And for that much, thank you so much, guys. I will catch you up in the next one. Peace. Thank you again. Happy birthday to my dad. I love you, Dad. Thank you for being here. I miss you so much. Love my dad. All right. Bye, guys.